All right, let's jump right into this. Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're cracking open a digital archive that, honestly, the authorities would absolutely love to keep permanently buried. We're talking about Midnight Static, the glitch in Sector 4. And look, this isn't some internet creepypasta or a made-up urban legend. We are looking at real, heavily documented anomalies that just completely challenge everything we think we know about the physical world around us. So, let's get into it. I mean, think about it. What if the absolute most terrifying thing a police officer could witness isn't a physical crime scene at all, but a digital recording, one that literally shatters the laws of reality? How are we supposed to react when our everyday surveillance footage just casually captures the impossible? We rely on these cameras every single day to give us the objective truth, right? To be the unimpeachable witnesses to our reality. But what happens when that objective truth breaks the very foundation of what is physically possible? Section 1. A defiance of physical laws. The Sector 4 anomaly. Section 2. The 3 a.m. elevator footage, a chronological playback. Okay, so we really need to frame this incident right. We aren't looking at your standard break-in or robbery here. We are diving deep into this intensely unsettling, reality-bending mystery centered on a high-security elevator and a man who seemingly fractured time itself. Put yourself in the scene for a second. It's a massive, sprawling office building in the dead of night, utterly silent, just that buzzing hum of fluorescent lights overhead. At exactly 3 a.m., a lone guy walks into the ground floor elevator. It's a totally standard, mundane commute for a late-night worker, but then at 3:01 a.m., things just go sideways. This rhythmic, pulsing distortion suddenly takes over every single monitor in the security room. 60 agonizing seconds go by. Then, at 3:02 a.m., the elevator doors finally slide open on the top floor.
Now focus on that specific sensory detail for a second, a rhythmic, pulsing distortion. We're not talking about a loose cable or a standard signal drop here. This was an aggressive digital static. Honestly, it's the exact kind of corrupted, nasty interference you'd expect to see if you stumbled onto some haunted, forbidden corner of the internet. It was a complete, hostile hijack of the visual feed that felt almost alive in its rhythm.
And when that static finally cleared and those doors slid open, three identical versions of the exact same man walked out of that elevator. And no, they didn't just stumble out looking confused. The real horror here is the absolute, terrifying precision of the anomaly. They moved with this perfect, eerie synchronization. They took the exact same length of stride. Their arms swung at the precise same angle. Guys, if you watch the footage closely, you can literally see their chests rising and falling in perfect unison. It is an absolute, undeniable physical impossibility, a literal glitch in the fabric of existence, caught perfectly on tape. Section 3. A quietly closed case. The investigation's dead end. So when detectives finally show up, they're obviously expecting an elaborate hack or some viral prank, right? Instead, they walk straight into a paradox. Physically, they are standing in a completely empty elevator. No secret hatches, no hidden compartments, literally zero signs of tampering. Yet, looking right back at them from the digital security feed, permanently etched into that archive, are 3 identical men exiting that very same space. There was a complete lack of a logical explanation for where these extra versions of the guy went, mostly because, physically, they simply weren't there. The investigators hit a brick wall so profound and so fundamentally unexplainable that the police eventually just quietly closed the case. No explanation, not a single trace. And get this, the visuals aren't even the most disturbing part. There was this deeply unsettling silence on the tape as those figures walked off into the darkness. I don't just mean it was quiet. It was a total, unnatural audio void. The ambient hum of the building, the sound of their shoes hitting the tile, all of it was just swallowed whole by the camera feed. Honestly, this complete absence of sound is way more disturbing to me than a recording left behind by a serial killer. It heavily compounds the psychological dread of watching these fractured identities just silently march away into the shadows. Section 4. Leaks from the digital world. Overlapping dimensions. All of this forces us to connect this Sector 4 incident to a much, much larger existential theory. Because, let's face it, we're seeing these digital anomalies popping up more and more in the modern age, and they are escalating rapidly. Take that TikTok account that predicted deaths, for example. This wasn't algorithm guesswork. This was a nameless account posting highly specific localized coordinates and exact timestamps days before weird, fatal accidents happened at those exact spots. Or what about the YouTuber who vanished during a live stream? Thousands of viewers watched in real time as his physical form simply dissolved into a mess of pixelated artifacts.
All that was left was an empty chair and a microphone recording a hollow, metallic hum. He was never found. And then there's the case of the online friend who just wasn't human. A massive, years-long chat history filled with emotional connections and shared memories, only for cyber investigators to realize the IP address didn't originate from a server on Earth, and the images were algorithmic generations of a place that fundamentally doesn't exist. When you really step back and look at the sheer scale of this dimensional leakage, it becomes utterly overwhelming. What we are looking at here is a concept called overlapping dimensions. It's this haunting anomaly where our physical world and digital archives fracture and actually bleed into one another, creating these impossible realities. It's a concept that really forces us to philosophically question if our own identities are as rock solid as we believe they are. I mean, just imagine the pure psychological horror of scrolling online, digging through some random digital archive, and suddenly finding your own missing poster dated 5 years in the future. That is the terrifying level of reality breaking we are dealing with. Section 5. Your own missing self. The boundary of privacy shattered. This is the point in the explainer where it stops being just some distant, creepy mystery and turns the lens directly back onto us. Because this case completely shatters our most basic assumptions about privacy. It totally destroys that comforting, false sense of safety we all feel when we're sitting behind our glowing screens at night. There's a warning hidden in all of this, a quote that goes, "Sometimes the static is trying to show you the truth. Just what's actually there." Which leaves us with one incredibly unsettling question for you all. Have you ever caught a glitch on your own home security camera? Have you ever noticed a stutter in the feed or a shadow out of the corner of your eye that absolutely shouldn't be there? The next time your screen drops its signal, you really have to ask yourself, is it just a technical error or is the boundary thinning? Stay safe out there, guys, and seriously, trust what you see in the static.